Hey guys, this is my second part of my March wrap-up. So if you want to go see the first one, I'll link it below and you can have a look at that. So that way you can see the first books that I read. So yeah, let's continue on with the books. The next one that I read... This next book that I read... I might go off on a rant, so just be prepared for this. But... So here we go. The next book that I read was Welcome to Braggsville by T. Geronimo Johnson. Good God, this story. Oh my gosh. I first heard this book from a podcast from Happy Hour by NPR. I love that podcast. It's amazing. It basically talks about pop culture, but every like fall-ish, they'll have a section where they talk about books, which I love. And so I first heard about this story from the podcast, and I was like, oh my god, that premise alone sounds so good. So I've read it, and I got opinions on it. So if it even interests you at all, like you're like, Michael, what is this about? I say go into this blind, because the surprises that it throws at you, I was surprised the whole time. Like, I was like, really? I kept going like this, This is exactly my expression. I was like, And then there was a part where I was just like, really? But if you're not convinced yet, let me try to convince you. This story is about a boy, De'Aaron. Yes, De'Aaron, who is from this small town, Braggsville, hence the name, near good old Georgia, where I live. He gets accepted into Berkeley across the country. So you know, he's actually a really smart person. He's a smart person, so he gets accepted into college, and he meets these his friends that he becomes friends with in college. And let me tell you, they are a diverse group of friends. That's all you need to know. Diverse group of friends. There's like an Asian one, African American one. There's a Native American one. She ain't really Native American. So they go into class before spring break. This is like in the beginning of the semester. So they get really close as friends. And so during one of their classes, before spring break, the teacher has this idea, and they're dumb. If I curse, I'm sorry, but their dumbasses decided to go along with it. Come to find out that there is a Civil War reenactment in Braggsville, where De'Aaron is from, and to me, I don't have an opinion on Civil War reenactments, because I feel like it's actually good to like see how it went down. I mean, if you go to Gettysburg and they have a reenactment, it's just like, oh, they're having a reenactment, you know, to teach kids about the war, the Civil War, and I mean, it is what it is. So, but they feel some type of way about it. I mean, that's their opinion. So they feel some type of way about it. And so what do they decide to do? They decide to demonstrate and protest against this reenactment by forming a lynching. Yes, a lynching. And in case you don't know what a lynching is, look it up, and I'll pause this video, first off, because you should know what it is, but look it up. This is the 21st century. This book is current. I mean current. And someone's idea to protest this was a lynching. I was like, really? To do a lynching, a fake lynching. Okay, I'm just gonna let that go. So, and then to put salt to the wound, they decide to do a reverse lynching. Like, it won't be the black guy getting lynched. It'll be the white girl. Yes, the white girl getting lynched, and everybody else dressed as slaves. The whole time I kept reading this book, I was like, why? Now granted, I was enjoying the book, but I was just like, why? Why would this be a good idea to you? Because I'm reading this book and it's like, it cannot end well at all. It cannot. Because you cannot fake a Lynching and expect it to go well. And so, no spoilers here, so I'm gonna cut it off in there. But I'm gonna put a part right here if you don't want to hear the spoilers, because it's gonna be slight spoilers, because I kind of want to talk about a thing that they did, and it doesn't. It gets worse from what they decide to do that. So, you know, skip this if you don't want to hear anything about it, because I highly recommend to read it. Before you leave though, I love the book. It's such a smart commentary about race, and while I have an opinion on it, you definitely will have an opinion on this book because of what these characters decide to do and how it unfolds essentially. But before you leave, I keep saying before you leave, but I am, this book format, the way it's handled, there's no quotation marks. And let me tell you, as a reader, I'm really traditionalist. I love traditional book. Like, I don't read ebooks. I can't because I get distracted. I'll turn off the app and read something else. I don't do audiobooks because, again, I get distracted. I love a good old-fashioned hardcover. Softcover too. But then also, I like books that use quotation marks. Which means when people are talking, I love books that indent to space it off. I love books that go on to the next paragraph. The next line to show a paragraph. And I tell you this because some books I have a hard time, if it's not in that traditional sense, I have a hard time sometimes reading it. Perfect example, Blindness. I don't know where that book is. It's somewhere in this area. That book I've never finished it, and I enjoyed it actually, but it is so hard to read because everything runs into each other. Like, it's forever a long sentence. There's no punctuations. There's no indentations. It was just a hard book for me to get through, and I understood why he did that because it creates this sense. But anyways, this book, Welcome to Braggsville, has no quotation marks, and sometimes it did get confusing on exactly who's saying who, but I got over it after a while actually, surprisingly, and after that I got the hang of it, and I really enjoyed it after that. So yeah, I recommend you read this book because it's really smart in the sense of what it says about race and culture and how we see each other. It's just really awesome, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars out of 5. I highly recommend this book. I enjoyed it immensely. Alright, so I'm gonna talk about something that happened in this book. Slight spoilers, but it is the 21st century. If you feel you have to put blackface on, don't. You're racist. Yes, if you ever felt like, I should do blackface, you are racist. Oh my god, let me tell you. So during this lynching, they have the idea to do blackface, and I had the biggest palm face shock look ever. I was just like, are you serious? Like, we're not even putting salt to the wound at this point. We just digging in and ripping things apart. Oh my god, I was like, bruh, that's the whole time I was reading this book. I had this expression of just like, bruh, and the conclusion to this, good god, it brought back, hold on, I need a drink. Yeah, it brought back memories of Roots, and I was just like, oh my god. Yeah, when they did the lynching part, and then they were like, you know what? I think to even put more of an emphasis on what we're doing, we should do blackface. No. But yes, God, that part I just wanted to talk about because that part just really shocked me. I was just like, really? We're going down that route right now. We're going down that route. Oh, I also want to say, the cover, ooh, it's really pretty. So yeah, on to the next book before I even go on more of a tangent. The next book that I read was Batman Noir: The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. In case you don't know, like, I love Batman. I think he's a really cool superhero. But I'm not gonna be one of those people that think they know everything about Batman, because I don't. I'm more of like a fan. I don't read, I'm like not hardcore or anything. I know the main villains. I've played the Arkham Asylum, Arkham City games, which are amazing, by the way. And I really enjoyed those. Randomly got this book from the library because I was like, oh, I might like it. And oh my god, it was so good. Oh my, I enjoyed it so much. First off, it's in this really, really cool black and white look to it, kind of like how a noir is usually. But just the contrast, like, it's super dark. It's like a super dark black and like super white. And just together it looks so good, and it adds a sense of eeriness to some of the scenes. I love the art style. I thought it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. But then also the story was so good. Basically, as each major holiday, starting at Halloween and moving forward to, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, people keep dying during those days. And so, it's Batman's job to try to find out who is doing this. They're calling it the Holiday Killer, I think? I get it confused with Calendar Man. So yeah, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. So 5 stars out of 5. Read it. I really enjoyed it. And it was a fast read too. The next book that I read was Blue is the Warmest Color, or Les Bleus est une couleur chaude by Julie Moreau and Ivanka Honenberger. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. And I really enjoyed this graphic novel. I don't think I've ever seen the movie, actually, but I really loved it. First off, it's done in this really cool, like, it's almost water paint-ish, almost. I think it is, actually. It's done in this really cool water paint look to it, and it has these stark contrast of like when the blue comes out. Oh my gosh, because there will be scenes where it's just like really monotone, and then all of a sudden you would see this flash of blue, like from her hair and whatnot. It was so cool and I loved it. This story, I went into it blind, so I recommend you do that too, because I found it really, really good. Because of that, like, I just didn't know what it was about. This story is about this girl named Clementine. She's young and she finds out that she might like this girl, and she doesn't know how to deal with it, essentially. And the story goes off from there, but I loved it. I mean, I love the connection between these two characters and how they interact. I also love the story with the parents. I really enjoyed that part, because you're going back and forth between present and past, and so you're trying to see how it leads to that. And oh my gosh, it was so sad and beautiful. I really enjoyed it. There is a small gripe that I have. There are parts where I feel as though the book was really good. It could have been longer. I mean, I didn't mind if it was longer, because there would have been part where it just would have been just fleshed out a little bit more. Especially there were some scenes, I don't want to give anything away, but there's this part where I felt that, like, we could have gotten more of this scene, because I wanted to see more on these characters' perspective of being gay and whatnot, because there was this part that I was just like, that was a weird transaction. Yeah, it was just a weird transaction. It completely, like, took me out of the experience. I was just like, whoa, that was really weird. But I highly recommend it. I enjoyed it. It was really good. Yeah, 4 stars out of 5. The next book that I read, here we go. And if I go on a tangent again, I'm so sorry. The next book that I read is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. This is not a popular opinion, so you can just skip this part if you're gonna be offended. Okay, so I first heard of this book. I'm gonna make a video about what I like to call a media blackout. I do this all the time. When I find something that I really enjoy, perfect example of this was I saw the trailer, gameplay demo, the first gameplay demo of this game called The Last of Us from Naughty Dog. I was blown away by that gameplay trailer, the gameplay demo. Oh my gosh, it was so good! The person playing it literally just dropped the controller and walked out. Like, nothing needed to be said after that, because that's how good it was. It was so good. Snaps all around. But it was so good, I was just like, you know what? That's it. I will buy this game when it comes out. And I will avoid anything that I can. Because I want to go in there. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. And so this book, when I first started seeing it around BookTube, people kept saying, you don't want to know a lot about this book. So I would literally pause that book haul, skip it after they're finished and keep watching. Or if it was a review, I would save it until... If it was a review or like a wrap up, I would be like, oh no, skip, or I would save it until I read the book because I wanted to go into this blind. All I knew is that I needed to not know anything about this book. And so this is where expectations does not meet the hype, in my opinion. So first off, you should go into... Yes, I completely agree. You should go into this book not knowing a lot. Because the experience gets better from that. It gets better because you don't know a lot. So I'm reading this and I'm like, okay. And then when the revelation happens, I was just like, oh, okay. That was it. Like... Okay. I did not enjoy this book. First off, I felt like the resolution, or like the twist was kind of weak. It was almost cheap almost, like, I was just like, oh. And this book does something that I hate, that I hate what these type of books do. I know a lot of stories about amnesia. I've read a lot of books about, like, this character has amnesia or can't remember something, and I hate it. This is one of my pet peeves in books, because I love thrillers, so this happens a lot. I hate it when a character has amnesia and another character knows what happened and they won't tell you, and their excuse is always, it will be traumatizing for you. Really? Now granted, this book does explain that, but that irked my nerve the first time I saw it. It was like, oh, just tell her if this is that important. And I know that I know it's trying to build up to this thing, but I just didn't feel like the payoff was worth it. I also felt like I didn't connect to these characters. I didn't get a sense of exactly who they were exactly. All I got a sense was that essentially they were rich. Granted, you don't have to connect to a character for it to be a great one, but I felt like this book, you needed to connect to the characters because of the thing that happens. You need to connect to them, so when you find out what happened, you empathize with them. But I just was like, oh, but the dogs! You don't need to, in my opinion, you never need to, do character development on a dog, because right off the bat, I'm gonna love them already. Because in case you didn't know, that dogs are better than humans. Yeah, I just didn't like this book, and I felt like the hype was not met. I was really disappointed at the end. Like, no shade on the people that liked it, but I watched reviews of this book to see what people thought about it too, because I was like, am I the only one that didn't like it? And everybody loved it. Well, a lot of people loved it. There were some people that agree with me. So I know I'm not the only one. I didn't understand what all the hype was. And they were like, oh my god, it was amazing. I've never read anything like this before. And I was like, really? I just didn't. Yeah. So on to the next book. The next one that I read was We Were Titans Volume 1 by Hajime Isayama. Let me tell you my experience with Attack on Titan. I have watched majority of the anime. When I say majority of the anime, I literally stopped like near the last episode. The first time I watched the anime, oh my gosh, it was awesome! But then it reached this point where it just seemed to drag. And you know exactly what I'm talking about if you've watched the anime. Like, why can't we find this house already? Why can't we find this basement? Y'all been 10 episodes and y'all still haven't found this basement yet. Now, I think the anime is actually better than the manga. Because, let me tell you why. Well, first off, the world building and the story of this series is so cool. The design of the characters, like everything about it is cool. Except sometimes basically it's near the extinction of humanity because of these giants, these titans, keep eating them, keep eating humans. And so what happened is the last humans, like a lot of the last humanity, built like 3 walls within each other. 3 walls, and they built a system so the titans can't get over the wall, but they're also trying to figure out like where did they come from. So intriguing, it's amazing, and it pulls off an amazing Game of Thrones moment. By that I mean, well, you watch it, but I was like like I was literally shocked. Hold on, I need a drink. I was literally shocked when it did this one thing to the main character. I was like, bruh! But then it also did something again and I was just like, oh, okay. Okay! I felt like sometimes the anime dragged on, but let me tell you about this manga. The reason why I recommend the anime over the manga is because this is a really fast action-paced series. And I feel like the manga doesn't portray that. It doesn't convey it essentially. Because there were some parts where I was just like, it goes from panel to panel, and I was just like, oh, like that was a weird, like you should have drawn a second before that. Like it was awkward during some parts in the manga. I was just like, the action, I can see it because I've watched the anime, but reading the manga, there was like almost a disconnect of how it should have flowed. I gave it 3 stars out of 5. So yeah, I recommend the anime until a certain point because it just dragged on. The next one that I read was kinda lived up to the hype and it met it. Like it was both. Is Death Note. This is an anime. I'm on volume 6 right now, so I've read 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is one of the anime series, mangas, everything that all of my friends, even Netflix, Hulu, like those websites, Crunchyroll, all of them kept telling me to watch it because of my previous love of other animes, and I was just like, I'll get to it eventually. And oh my god, I'm conflicted about this series because I think it starts off incredible. I love the story. The character is really cool. Like, I love Light and Ryuk and sometimes Misa. Sometimes. I love L. Like, I just love how these characters connect with each other. That granted. So yeah, this story is about this guy named Light who finds this death note. It's like a notebook, and basically what he writes in it, people will die, but then there's a whole bunch of rules that come with that. And so he has this idea to get rid of criminals to form like almost a utopia of just civilly correct people, like, you know, nice humans, and then all of a sudden things go down, and it's like almost a cat and mouse story plot in the beginning. And so you see this tension between Light and L as they go against each other and try to one-up one each other. I loved it. And I also love that this character, Light, he's like a smart character. He's really thinking about this type of thing. Like, he really knows what he, in his mind, was correct, but that's a whole different thing of what my opinion compared to what his is. What he thinks is correct, but then also how he executes his plans. I love that part. Like, seeing how he thinks of, okay, so I have to do this, to do this, to do this. And then when he does it, sometimes there's a slight, oh, like a brick wall, like there's a wall he has to face, like especially that situation with that girl. Oh my god. Whoo, when he was about to get revealed, I was like, oh bros! It was so good. And then so how him and Elle just like keeps going against each other, I love that part. And then the story comes at a screeching halt when Misa comes. Because it brings another element to the story, right? This girl brings another part of the element, and I love that her storyline layers on top of his storyline, because there's a lot going on. And then after the situation with Misa and Light, there's a situation with a corporation, and that's where I feel like this is dragging. Like, it is dragging because of something that I don't know what the decision was exactly, because the writer of why he did it, because something happens with Light where it's basically like a start over again. Like, I gave each one of them different stars because of it's just starting to fall. Trust me, it's so close to that 2 stars. It's still at 3 stars right now because I'm reading them, but at 2 stars it's just almost like, it was almost unbearable. This plot line with this corporation, it's just, good god. Yeah. So there's that. The next book that I read is this is the last book that I've completed for March. Good god, these videos are long as hell. Is Why the Last Man, is the deluxe version, book 3. Yeah, I don't have that much to say about this book because I thought it was okay. I read the first one and the second one, and I thought the first one was like, you know, pretty good. The second one was, you know, pretty good also. It wasn't as great as the first one. The third one is just like, okay, we can like, I still enjoy the characters because I really like these characters. I mean, there's only one guy and then a whole bunch of girls, and they're badass. Like, some of them are just really cool. But before I say goodbye, I just want to show you books that I'm currently reading. As you saw, I'm currently reading book 6. And another book I'm reading because of the hype, but I can tell you right off the bat, I'm gonna have a not popular opinion on it, is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This book is getting a lot of hype, so I decided to check it out from the library. I randomly saw it sitting there. I was like, oh, hey, I know you. I'm gonna check it out. I'm like I'm almost done actually. Like, I have 150 pages left, I think, so I'm almost done with it. Granted, I don't know how the ending is gonna be, but I definitely have opinions on this book. And I don't think it's hyped up as it should be. I don't think it's that great to be, in my opinion. So yeah. But a great book that I'm loving so much right now is Batman Bruce Wayne Murderer? Oh my gosh. This is basically a collection of comics about this plot line with Batman about him getting accused of murder. Oh my gosh. So good. It is so good. Like, it's an amazing collection of comics. Oh my god, what I love about it is, like I told you about Batman, the Batman Noir, is that I'm not really well versed in the Batman universe. Like, I know the basics and gist and whatnot. There's characters in here I've never heard of before. I was like, oh, who is that? And I'm enjoying it so much. I'm really, really loving this right now. I'm a little bit halfway through, but I can tell I'm gonna love it, because what I love about it is, so there's the main plot, of course, of how Batman is getting accused, well, Bruce Wayne is getting accused of murder, but then it starts branching out. So like there's certain chapters where it's all about like Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, and like, it's not in order, so things are sometimes mixing, and I just love it. There is over an hour footage that I just filmed right now, and I had to change the battery because it was dying. Oh my god. Other than that, I think that's about it, because like, no lie, these videos are gonna be super long already as it is. But yeah, let me know, for real, let me know if you read any of these books in the comments below. Yeah, I don't know what happened in March, because I've read all of these books, and hopefully it's the same thing that happens in April. So yeah, until then, I'll see you guys. Bye!